Hello guys, what's up? I'm engineer AK, and in this video I am going to show you that how we can find the force and its angle if two components are given using scientific calculator, right? So first I will show you how we can do that manually, and after that I will show you that how we can do that by using the scientific calculator, right? So let's get started. So here I have taken two component of a force, right? The first and the y component of the force has a magnitude of 6 newton, and the x component of the force has a magnitude of 10 newton, right? Now what we will do, we will find the resultant force and the angle that it is we will find the force right here, the force of that the magnitude of that force and the angle that it is making with the positive x-axis, right? So let's see. So if we do that manually, so what we will do, that we know that the force, if we want to find the resultant, so we take the square of the under the root, right? We take under the root and then square of the x component and then plus square of the y component, so we get the magnitude of the force, right? So here I have written it, the f of x square plus f of y square, right? Under the root, right? It has a value of 1 over 2. So if I plug in the value, so here f of x is 10, right? So 10 square plus 6 square, right? I have written here. Now let's plug in the values in the calculator. Okay, so under the root 10 square plus 6 square, right? So what I will get, 11.66, right? So 11.66 newton, right? Okay, now for angle we know that we have tan inverse, right? F of y and then divide by f of x, right? So if we plug in the values, so tan inverse f of y is 6, right? Here f of y is 6 and f of x is 10, right? So f of y is 6 and f of x is 10, right? So if I plug in the values in calculator, so tan inverse 6 divided by 10, right? So what we get, 30.96, right, degree. So 30.96 degree, right? So we have find it these two values. Let me highlight it, right? 11.66 newton, and the angle that we have find it is 30.96 degree, right? Now let me show you that how you can find this directly using the scientific calculator, right? So what we have to do, that first you can see here an option of polynomial, right? So you will press shift because the polynomial is written with brown, right? So we know that the brown commands activated by using the shift key. So press shift and then polynomial, right? So now it is written here polynomial. Then what you have to do, that first you have to enter the x component, right? So the x component is 10, right? After that you have to put the comma, it is written here with the brown color, right? So you have to press shift and then press the comma, and then you have to plug in the y component. So here the y component is 6 and bracket close, right? and if we click, so here we can see R is the resultant, so it is giving the value of 11.66, and we can see here 11.66, right? And if I see the angle, that it is theta is equal to 30.96 degree, right? And here the theta is also 30.96 degree. Now we have taken one another example in order to check that whether this trick work or not, right? So here again I have taken two component of a force. The y component has a magnitude of 30 newton, while the x component has a magnitude of 40 newton, right? And what we have to do, that what we have to find the force and the angle that it is making with the positive x-axis, right? So we know that what we do for resultant, that we take the square of the both component and then take the under root, right? So here I have written it already, right? So let's check that what it will give us using calculator. Okay, so under the root 40 square plus 30 square, right? So what it is giving, 50 newton. So let me write here 50 newton. And now we know that for the angle we take tan inverse f of y and then f of x, right? So f of y is 30, right? And f of x is 40, right? So 30 divided by 40, right? So let's see what it yield. So tan inverse and 30 divided by 40, here we go. So it's giving us 36.86, or if I round off it to, or let me write it directly, 36.869 degree, right? So 36.869, 36.869 degree, right? Now we get, let me take a bit lighter one. Okay, this yellow one is better. So this is the angle and this is the resultant force, right? Now let's try this by using scientific calculator. So as I told you, press shift to activate the Brown commands, right? And then this button, that a polynomial is written here, then you have to first insert the x component, so it is 40, and then shift comma, and then you have to plug in the second y component, that is 30, right? So 30, bracket close and press. So here we can see that the r is 50, and here we can also see that it is giving the same answer, right? It is also giving us the 50 newton, and here we can see angle is 36.869, and here also the angle is 36.869 degree. So that's the way how you can find the resultant if two components are given, and you can also find the angle that resultant force is making with the positive x-axis, right? So thank you for watching. See you in next video.